Slavery is a deplorable notion. One person owning another is just not acceptable in today's world. But history bears out the ugly truth of rich, white plantation owners in Southern America owning black Americans and treating them with harsh physical punishments if they went against the owner's wishes. However, those television documentaries and references in history books seldom explore the very personal horrors faced by those who were enslaved some 2 centuries ago. Here are some instances where slaves were forced into extreme sexual behaviors and reproducing children to replenish the number of slaves solely for the benefit of their masters. Number one, slave women were subjected to many sexual improprieties. Among them were violations by their masters and their sons, forced matings, and arranged marriages. Number two, historian E. Franklin Frazier said stockmen were weighed and tested before being put into a room with young women to mate for the purpose of bearing children. Number three, by the end of the 18th century, the breeding of slaves was a common practice. Laws were changed so the public could view slaves as things instead of people, so the owner could do with them as he wished. Slave owners even began believing that slavery was grounded in the Bible. Number four, American slaves in 1860 were worth $4 billion, which was far more than the $228 million worth of gold and silver circulating back then. Even the value of Southern farmland, $1.92 billion, did not amount to the worth of the slaves. So for the owners, their slaves were worth everything to them. Number five, the mortality rate among slaves was very high, so their owners would often encourage or force them to have children. Even at the age of 13, females were expected to begin having children to replenish the slave stock. They were expected to have 4 or 5 children by the age of 20. They were often encouraged by their owners to do this with the promise of freedom. Number six, female slaves who did not cooperate with their owners to bear children for them would be subjected to many and various punishments, both mental and physical. Number seven, in some instances, the females who bore children for their owners were given gifts, including extra clothing, the withdrawal of any harsh treatment, and sometimes, if their quota was met, freedom. Number eight, women who did not or could not bear children would not be given any breaks or rewards that were given to mothers, and they would do the same work on the level of men. Number nine, if a woman was deemed infertile, she would sometimes be separated from her family, and owners would sometimes split up married couples and require them to choose new partners. Number 10, male slaves at the age of 15 were inspected to see if they could breathe well. If it was deemed that they could not, their testicles would be castrated. Over the course of 5 years, each young male was expected to get at least 12 female slaves pregnant. According to the slave narratives, a male slave named Bert was said to have fathered over 200 children. Number 11. Plantation owners would often take the pretty female slaves and put them to work in the household. But if the owner showed affection or gave favors to the pretty girl, His wife would subject her to torture. If the pretty slave bore a child, the owner's wife would behead that child. Number 12. To provide entertainment for his friends, the plantation owner would sometimes arrange orgies among the male and female slaves. His friends would be allowed to join in them. Number 13. A slave wife could never be faithful to her husband, as most owners demanded she have affairs with other men, nor was she allowed to remain pure or virtuous. Number 14. Some male slaves were purchased by their owners solely by the size of their penis, and the black men were often raped by their gay slave owners. This process was called breaking the buck. And finally, number 15. Not all owners abandoned the children they fathered with female slaves. Some would provide them with education and money, and some owners even set free their mistresses and mixed-race children. That's all for today. Let us know what you think about today's topic in the comments section below. Don't forget to like us and be sure to subscribe for more stories like this. Get addicted to the good stuff.
donut shaped UFOs.
All right, can y'all hear now? Everybody hear me now? All right, hopefully y'all can hear me now. All right, so I'm gonna do. What was this? Close that. You saw the video, but the sun, what NASA's showing as the sun, is nothing but what we have seen as the inside of the Earth. Space is just the top of the Earth, and of course the dome, everything under the dome, I should say. All right, but she's showing these ships that are coming out of the sun.
Somehow my sound gets messed up, but that's okay, you all. That is all right. So let me come over here. We can see that you all are on here. Hello there, bang bang luck bang. It's so nice to see you here. It is. It's nice to see everyone else here also. Um, hello. This is great. Uh, yes, you all. This is wonderful. It is. Do I got this back to me? I do. I do. Let me see if I can sneak over here to my YouTube channel and see if I can find that video. I want to see how I pronounce that video that I put up here. Let me see if I can do it. Let me put it back to me. Put it right back to me. Let me see if I can pronounce it. I really don't know if I can. Let's do this. Just a moment. And we can do it. So we're going to look at this video, just a little section of it. If you didn't see it right here. Of a volcanic eruption that occurred. And as I was looking at that, I saw what looked really good. Perfect. Donut-shaped UFO was sitting there on the ground as their camera was flying the helicopter. So what we're looking at, I don't know if you all can hear it or not. Let me see if you can hear this. Well, what I think right here is a UFO right there. A massive donut-shaped UFO. Bonjour, everyone. right there, Bini Amana. Okay, so we got that. Okay, we've got that. If you didn't see that video, that was Mount Bini Amana. So yeah, I've already took care of that, you all. So I really wanted you to look at that. So look at this, you all. So that shape, that UFO, they are clustered all around the sun. You can see right here. By the way, NASA discontinued this product right here. The last it was seen is around 2014. But look at this. This is donut-shaped UFOs. They're clustered all around the sun, and we are going to look at a video of it. Dina, honey, you don't look too pretty right there. I don't look too pretty right there, you all. Let me find my pictures down here. Yes, let me find them. I've got to go. I've nowhere to go at on here. I do. Let me see this. I've got to go to the 1900s on my screen, and we can look at those, but I do want to show the footage of them from the NASA website itself. I do. Let me come over here to the screen. Let's look this up. So we've got this right here. Donut-shaped UFOs. And if we look at this, this is like a donut-shaped UFO.
Mysteries are all around us, and with mysteries come discoveries. Sometimes secrets lie dormant for thousands of years until we uncover their truths. Likewise, as we develop as a species, our technology develops with us. What future mysteries will be unfurled? So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be taking a look at 3 interesting discoveries. Huge methane cache beneath the Arctic could be unlocked by the moon. Recently, scientists have found that the moon might be affecting how much methane is being released from the seafloor at the bottom of the Arctic Ocean. Although we have known about and understood the moon's effects on the tides for quite some time, we have yet to see many instances in which the moon's phases can change the ocean's methane levels. In recent studies, however, scientists have concluded that low tides mean less pressure and more methane released. Conversely, high tides create more pressure, leading to diminished methane release. To find these effects, scientists had to measure the temperature and pressure inside Arctic seafloor sediments. Their main takeaway from this study was the correlation between gas levels and the rising and falling tides. Using a permanent monitoring tool, these scientists identified methane release in an area in the Arctic Ocean where it had not previously been observed. Joshen Nees, a marine geologist at the Center for Arctic Gas Hydrate, Environment and Climate, or CAGE, said the following in a statement. "It is the first time that this observation has been made in the Arctic Ocean. It means that slight pressure changes can release significant amounts of methane. This is a game changer and the highest impact of the study. From this study's conclusions, it is clear that climate change will be affected directly by this release of methane from the Arctic Ocean seafloor. Why does this matter? Greenhouse gases such as methane have been proven to contribute to global warming. As more methane is released, global temperatures increase as well. Understanding how the tides can affect these seafloor methane caches is important for future climate change and global temperature predictions. In addition, the discovery of the tide's effects on the release of methane from the seafloor shows that scientists have been underestimating the Arctic's greenhouse gas emission levels. This new discovery also raises questions and concerns regarding how rising sea levels and ocean warming will interact as climate change becomes a much more pressing issue. Because high tides reduce methane emissions, it is possible rising sea levels, which come with higher tides, might partially counterbalance the threat of increased gas emissions being caused by a warming ocean.
Welcome to Raid Shadow Legends. If you're wondering just what you're getting into, Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play game for your PC.
The moon Io is the most volcanically active world in the solar system. Io, one of Jupiter's 79 moons, is thought to be the celestial body in our solar system that contains the most volcanic activity. Revealed by the Voyager 1 spacecraft, Io is the first place outside of Earth for us to observe erupting volcanoes. Not only did Io make history as the first to be seen to have erupting volcanoes, but the 400 volcanic craters can also produce eruptions that reach heights of a staggering 300 miles. Despite this impressive volcanic activity, there is a lot about the volcanoes on Io that are shrouded in mystery. For example, volcanoes are not in the positions we would expect based on activity here on Earth. The brightest, boldest, biggest eruptions are all located in one hemisphere of Io, not spread over the moon, and a ginormous depression, 8,100 square miles big, named Loki Patera, thwarts all expectations surrounding volcanoes. Ashley Davis, a co-author on the study of Io, has described the new data as a gift to the planetary science community, despite their confusing nature. He continues to explain that the eruptions on Io could resemble those that took place on Earth years ago, with them being described as geochemically primitive. Davis summarizes this, describing this data as a window into Earth's past. The volcanoes on Earth are the results of peaks and vents, eventually resulting in eruptions. Io, on the other hand, works a little bit differently, with its volcanic eruptions being down to some strange orbits. Io is one of the Galilean moons of Jupiter, with the other 3 being Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. with their collective name crediting their discoverer, Galileo Galilei. For every one orbit Io completes, Europa completes 2 and Ganymede 4. This pushes Io into a more elliptical orbit than it would have been without this interference.
One second. Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Sound like a damn commercial. That probably should have worked. All right, so what was I talking about just now? All right, so basically, and brother is free to pay attention to this video. He had a dream, and in that dream, Antarctica, the walls open or the gates open in Antarctica, and now he have this guy. All right, cool. So I know what I got to do now. Showing a video, and he's showing a video of how these guys, how this moon is showing, is having, excuse me, excuse me, is making our planet, the Antarctica melt, or have the gates open. And then he also had another dream where we're going to a place where there's on some type of boat, a huge boat. He called it a ship, it was a huge boat. It's the same thing. And it was going all the way to someplace nobody's been before. And it was kicking us all out. And it was kicking us all out of whatever it is kicking us out of, or kicking people out of, whatever it is kicking folks out of. I don't know where they're kicking folks out of in this dream. But they had planned to kill everybody in the ocean, like shoot nukes at and stuff. But anyhow, the Creator had sent people, I should say good guys, to protect us. It was like we were protected by some type of shell or bubble. That was a long time ago he had that dream. Let me call you right back, babe, because I'm in the video. I'm in the video. Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. Okay, so like I was saying, let me do this real quick. Let me show y'all. Go to crater anoints. Hold on here. We're gonna do real quick. There's another quick video. Really quick. I want to show y'all some things here. All right. I'm surprised nobody has any questions about want to bring up any topics about what they're doing, about what's going on, you know. Anything like that. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. So I'm gonna do, actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna put on a quick video, a learning video. All right. Put on this real quick one. These are videos to hopefully spark certain conversations, like the bullcrap that's going on in Ukraine. I mean, you gotta know that it's gotta be bullshit, that it's not. There's no way that we could say that it's real.
In 1970, Russian scientists began drilling a hole in the Earth's crust to find out exactly what is down there. After sending a mic down to record the activity, it became known as the Hole to Hell. The project's location was in Siberia, where they would drill for almost 2 decades. But the excursion would end abruptly in 1989 when they punched into a cavern housing molten lava. This molten rock was burning at a blistering 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so there was virtually no way to continue drilling through it. But before they closed down the project completely, one of the scientists had an idea. He wanted to send a microphone 12 kilometers deep into the cavern. So they made a mic that was heat resistant and it was able to get 17 seconds of recording before it burnt up. Here's what it sounded like. Discretion.
Well, that's crazy. Now, if that's hell, right? Oh man, I should have actually showed y'all that. Did y'all hear that? If that's hell, right? That's supposed to be hell. They dug that deep in the ground. Then, hopefully y'all can hear that. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's just go ahead and share the screen. Might as well keep the screen on, right? Might as well go ahead and keep the screen on. Yeah. Okay, so that's supposed to be hell. We'll go down to it again.
In 1970, Russian scientists began drilling a hole in the Earth's crust to find out exactly what is down there. After sending a mic down to record the activity, it became known as the Hole to Hell. The project's location was in Siberia, where they would drill for almost 2 decades. But the excursion would end abruptly in 1989 when they punched into a cavern housing molten lava. This molten rock was burning at a blistering 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so there was virtually no way to continue drilling through it. But before they closed down the project completely, one of the scientists had an idea. He wanted to send a microphone 12 kilometers deep into the cavern. So they made a mic that was heat resistant and it was able to get 17 seconds of recording before it burnt up. Here's what it sounded like. Discretion.
So that's supposed to be hell, and that's inside of the earth. And we have discovered that NASA, the videos that they show of the so-called sun that they show us, is the inside of the earth. And these spaceships are coming from out of, inside of the earth, from that heat core that keeps the planet warm. Then that should tell you what stage we're already at. And now that Antarctica's gates are open up, the doors, the walls are opening up. And scientifically speaking, as a space person would say, a space person would say, then how do they like to say it? Oh, the field or whatever type of field that Earth has around it, I forgot what they call it. Is supposedly weakening. So all these things are happening all at once. Scientifically, it's making a lot of sense. Common sense wise, it's making a lot of sense. And real, straight up facts and truth, it makes a lot of sense about what stage we at. You know, I don't know what's going on with everybody, but everybody in general, I know what's going on with some people. But I would definitely look towards finding some place to go soon. If this one guy's right, and I know some guy, he's getting certain dates right, but like I said, the date that I've been showing recently, I believe is going to be an upcoming event. I don't know if it's going to be the type of event that they would like, but it's going to be an upcoming event. And it's going to be a very dangerous event. But I want to do real quick. Does anybody have anything to say about that whole fake Ukrainian war? Every time they show you the videos, they have some videos of people walking around like soldiers and stuff like that. But I've yet to see a video where like people are dead or anything so far. You know, I have not. Have you? Anybody seen anything like that? Besides, I've seen rocks and stuff. I'm actually gonna show another video soon too. I want y'all to chew the meat out of this guy. Or not out of this guy, but chew the meat, spit out the bones of this next video as well. For anybody, before I do show this other video, anybody have anything to say about what's going on with the whole Ukrainian BS? Anybody has any extra info they want to add? You can go ahead and add it before I head on to this next video here. Okay, so you're gonna show us a quick video. Really quick. All right. We're gonna put it on the big screen.
Something I think you guys would like to hear. And in this video here, we're going to talk about cremation versus being buried. The science of being cremated versus the science of being buried, okay? Now, to start this conversation out, family, we got to talk about some things that people may not see as positive, which is death, okay? So if you have a negative mindset, this video ain't really for you, because you may not really get what I'm trying to say, okay? But if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you will understand that what I'm saying is true. It's very true. Okay? So, before we get into the cremation and the burial part, which is very simple to understand, I want to get you guys to understand something about the life that you live. I want you guys to understand something about what you're experiencing right now. And the first thing I want you to understand is death is a transformation process, family. Okay? Death is not something that happens to you in a moment because somebody cut in front of you and you died in a car accident, or you was in the streets and somebody shot you, or you got sick, you got sick all of a sudden and just died. No, death is a transformation process, and it's always creeping up on you. And out of anything that's going to happen to you in this world, one thing is for sure: you're going to die one day. That's a fact. And everybody knows that. So you should be preparing yourself to live your life to the fullest, because that's really what death is about. Preparing for death is about living your life to the fullest, and I'm jumping ahead of myself. But I wanted you guys to understand, first of all, that death is a process. It happens over time. So even if you do get in a car accident, it ain't something energy that you picked up in the last week. It's the energy you've been picking up over time until the energy of death was able to take you. That's something you guys gotta understand. So nobody just dies like that. It's based on, you can call it karma, okay? But it's based on energy that you build up over time that eventually takes you out of here, okay? That's what it is. It's a transformation process. And once it happens to you, family, you're still not dead. It's a whole process to dying. It's a whole process to death. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that. Because your soul cannot go. Your body dies, but your soul cannot go, okay? So I want you guys to really, really understand that, all right? Now, this is something that you guys really got to understand, because you're actually experiencing life while you're dying, right? And that's simple to understand, because from the day you come out of your mother's womb, you're on the verge of, you're eventually going to die. So you're dying every day as you come out of the womb. That's a fact. You're not getting younger anymore. You're getting older. And we all know the older you get, eventually everybody meets their death. And it doesn't have to be anything negative. We live in a world where, especially because of Christianity and religion, we think that, man, I'm scared of death because if I'm not ready, then I can go to hell or heaven. A lot of people think that. But people are only scared of death because they're not ready for death. They haven't lived enough, right? They haven't experienced life, because life can only be experienced in a realm of death. You live in a realm of death. The material world, the physical world is death, right? It is death, it is destruction. It is not something that lasts forever. It decays over time. So you live in a realm of low vibratory energy, and everything down here dies one day. Trees, plants, and everything fades away. Everything with a consciousness down here, the form of it fades away in the physical form. It fades away. So you are in the realm of death. You need to understand that, family. You can call it a hell state. You can call it whatever you want, but that's what you are. You are in a realm of death. So while you're here, you need to learn the lessons. Remember, life is not a lesson. Life is not a blessing. It's a lesson. Learn the lesson, lift the curse. So if you only experience life down here in the realm of death, then life can hurt you, family. Okay? Life can hurt you. So you need to learn how to live while you're down here, because you're dying. Everybody's dying. The question is, how much have you lived? So life can only be experienced on the third dimension. It can only be experienced on the third dimension through death. Okay? Because you're dying and you're trying to live. So what I mean by trying to live is, a lot of people think that they're living because they go to the club every week or they go to the bar. That's not living, family. You're just having fun. Living is not always about having fun. It's about having experiences. So you have to ask yourself a question. Are you having fun in your life, or are you having experiences? Some experiences you have are scary, right? Some experiences you have are scary, but you may learn how to swim for the first time. It may not be fun at first because you're scared you're going to drown, but it's an experience. And that experience is a tool that you can learn that can take you through life. You can learn how to swim, right? You may want to jump out of an airplane. It may be exciting, right? But it's also dangerous. But at the same time, it's living. So I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm saying that don't make your life based on fun, right? Starting a business is an experience, and it's scary, right? A lot of people are afraid to start their businesses. A lot of people are afraid to step out into the world. But that's a part of living. And you can only experience that while you're dying. So starting a business is not fun. It can be scary. Now, coming up with ideas are fun. When we're actually doing it, so say you start a real estate business and you're trying to buy so many properties a month, it can be scary, because what if you don't meet that quota? What if you don't buy that many properties every month? What if you start a food stand and nobody shows up? Some businesses fail. That's a fact. So starting a business can be scary, but it's a part of the experience of life. So that's what I mean by life is not always fun, family, but it should be experienced. And we live in a world where it can only be experienced through death, okay? Through the physical world, which is death, that we live in, okay? So you have to learn how to experience life and understand that's a death process, family, okay? I had to write some notes down because I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say a lot of time, all right? So, family, I want you guys to understand this. Life is uncontrolled chaos. It is chaos that can't be controlled. That's what life is, right? But you learn how to control life by understanding death and by preparing for death. You control life. Life is uncontrolled chaos. It is suffering. You can suffer. People kill themselves because their life hard, right? People kill themselves because they say their life is hard. Life can be suffering for a lot of people. You can struggle financially. You can struggle with your health, right? You can struggle in so many different ways in life, right? So you need to understand, family, that once you understand that you're not going to be here forever, you'll take life more serious. You'll take life more serious. So that's what I mean by going back to that. If you learn about death, you will actually learn what life is, because life is a part of death. Life is an experience that we have while we're dying. Right? You're asleep right now. When you're in the physical world, you're asleep. It's a state of death. Right? It's a state of death. So you have to understand that, family. You are not at your full potential because your consciousness is sleeping. You're trying to wake your consciousness up in a lower vibration. So I want you guys to understand that. So by starting a business for your family, leaving generational wealth, making yourself have a good name in this world, you are preparing for death. You are making sure the next generation is set, because you know one day you're going to leave here. So you go hard every day, right? You have fun along the way. You have some experiences along the way. But more importantly is you focus on your business. You focus on your business because you know you got to leave something behind for the next generation. And I'm going to tell you like this, even if you don't have children, leave something for your nieces and nephews. Try your best to leave a legacy, right? Because that's all part of the death process. I say this all the time, and I'll tell it again. I didn't really experience life until my daughter was born. I thought I was experiencing life. But when she was born, my world came down crashing because I started to realize I got to prepare myself for death. Because if I die today, I have nothing to leave this girl, right? So I started the process of studying business, studying law, studying life in general. I started to have more experience. I started taking my daughter on different experiences so she could remember things, right? Having her see different things, because I know I'm not going to be here forever. And she still has to have experiences in her life. And I want to teach her how to experience life. Her life is her own. But I want to teach her the same thing, baby girl. While you going through life, you got to understand, have experiences so you can learn, because that's what you're here to do. You're here to learn the lesson. But at the same time, understand and leave something behind for the next generation. Leave some generational wealth or something for the next generation, because you're going to die one day. We're all going to go. Right? And we have to understand that. And once you understand that, family, it'll make you live more. So this is why a lot of young people are immature. Because they're young, they don't really think about leaving this planet. But when you have something to live for, it's different. So it's like Martin Luther King said, a man who has not found something to die for, I believe it was Martin Luther King that said this. A man who has not found something to die for is not fit to live.
So with that said, he made a good point. A man who has nothing to live for, is not to die for, is not, as you say, is not going to live. So if you have children, you have yourself, you have a spouse, especially what you see is going on, you should be definitely trying to find some place to go as far as wilderness wise. You should be preparing to even go to that place. You know, you see that we end up went and got land, and we're still, with the work's being done, because, you know, everything is always a progress, but it's getting done. The more of us together, the faster we can get things done. I know folks just think going to the wilderness and then they just in the wilderness. Not exactly, because we go to the wilderness, yeah, that is your homestead, the wilderness, and you can build them. There's plenty of things to be done. But, of course, you're going to need money, so you can easily find a job. There are places that's near the wilderness, which is actually surprisingly close enough to the wilderness, I should say. Excuse me. And then you can invest in what you want to invest in on the land. If you want a house, You invest in wood because you need wood to build a house or whatever. Metal containers, other way you're gonna do it. So you should be thinking about your future, thinking about your children's future, and trying to do that. It seems a lot of folks are scared to leave the city, but not realizing that the city is going to be destroyed. Okay, I know he's giving you different examples, but he's making a lot of sense. I want y'all to pay a little more attention to me real quick. I'm gonna put it back on the big screen.
I'll say that again. A man who has not found something to die for is not fit to live. Right? And what's that thing that Brother Bobby said years ago? He said, I think he said Leonardo da Vinci was on his deathbed, and he said, all my life I've been learning how to live. I should have been learning how to die. What does that mean? That means he should have been preparing for the day of his death. There's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to death. But if you ain't ready, and a lot of people, when they pass away, they regret what they didn't do on the physical world. So have experiences, have fun, but don't base your life on fun. Have experiences. Some experiences could be fun, but some experiences can be scary. The scary experiences will grow you. You will grow. Okay? And that's something you need to do. And that's something you're here to do. We need to challenge ourselves, family. Okay? That's so important because it's funny because when you live, you can suffer. Right? But when you die, what do they say? Rest in peace. So to some degree, there's a peace around death that people have in their mind. But at the same time, people are afraid to die. You know, I did a video on my Patreon a while ago based on the Steven Seagal movie, Marked for Death. And the title of the video was, everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want dead. Y'all remember that part, right? Everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want dead. Right? That was so funny. That's my favorite part of that movie. But that was so true. That was so true, meaning that everybody want to have a good time and be in the heavenly state, but you got to die to get there. No.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a physical heaven, the one that's the spirit of heaven in you. This earth could be a heavenly state. Therefore, you are in your heaven, physical heaven, and then there's a spiritual heaven. Yep, in the spirit world, okay? Because there's a spirit world as well. Different levels of spirit worlds, I should say. Some people will still say dimensions, but there's different levels of spirit worlds, okay? And you, because you are energy already exists, it can't be created, nor can it be destroyed. You transfer to another world. Now you have to assume, since this is what we call the lowest hell, that this would be the worst, one of the worst places that you would want to be. So if we go to the next level and keep going up, you want to get to a highest level, the highest estate, then that would be what you would call heaven. It would be, you would have your spiritual body, okay? And yes, it's supposed to be heaven on earth, as is in heaven. Not that fallen angel bull crap and all that other bullshit. Okay, it's one thing to expound on that to kind of help folks out.
Nobody want to die, right? Nobody want to die to experience heaven because people are afraid, okay? So after the body dies, family, after you do experience death, which is in the process, the body still goes through a process of leaving the earth, okay? When you pass away, family, you don't leave the earth immediately. Nobody does. Unless you have like a fifth dimensional body where you can just go to another dimension. But for the most part, 99% of the people on this planet, when they die, they linger around the earth for a couple days. Okay, they may disappear and then reappear somewhere else. And disappear and reappear somewhere else. That's usually what happens, right? Now, some people with a low consciousness, they just remember waking up on the other side. And they don't remember walking the earth for like a couple days after they pass away. That's actually what happens to a lot of people. So this is why when people die, they'll actually go to their funeral. That's right. There'll actually be people who will actually try to grab their relatives and grab their family members at funerals because they don't understand fully what's going on. Right? They got a car accident and they die like that, and their spirit was knocked out of their body. They die so fast. A lot of times people who pass away like that, they don't even know they died. So somebody walked up behind them and shot them in the head. They don't even know they died. So they're confused a lot of times. So they be trying to grab you. I've seen this stuff. They'll be at funeral homes, even in hospitals. I used to work in a hospital, and I've seen people die on the table, and they'll be trying to console their mother, grab their wife. They'll be trying to do this stuff, and it don't work. And then they'll disappear. I'll see them do something, and then they'll fade away, right? And then sometimes they don't understand that they're putting more pressure and sadness on the family because they're trying to linger around. And sometimes the family members can feel them. Like, I can feel you, Dad. I can feel you, Grandpa, Grandma. I can feel you around me, right? And these people don't know, because most of our people haven't really practiced spirituality like that. They don't know that they should go on. You're hurting your family by lingering around, making them feel like you're still around them. You need to go on, you know, and you know, let this death process continue. So a lot of times they'll see the light, just like in the movie Ghost, and they'll just walk away from it. Once again, they regret, right? They didn't leave anything behind. They'll see their family suffering, struggling with money, trying to pay for the funeral. They don't have nothing. So they hate that, and they be trying to console their family. Well, it's too late now, right? It's too late. And family, this is why rites and rituals should be done over the body, or even after the body's gone, but really before the body. Some people do it after, but before the body is gone, the rites and rituals should be done if you're going to bury the body. Now, here we're going to burying and cremation. I don't recommend people being buried. Okay? At one time, I wanted to be buried because I didn't want my body to be burned up. But once I understood the science of it, plus I'm gone already, right? Once I understood the science of it, it's actually better to be cremated, family. Okay? It's better to be cremated. And I'm going to go into that. I'm going to tell you why. If you don't do the correct death rites over a body when they're buried, the body can slowly decay, and the person will literally walk around in the spirit world, the astral plane, for hundreds of years before they become conscious. That's right. They can walk around for hundreds of years, 100 to a few hundred years, depending on how fast their body decays, and they can become, you know, conscious. And they won't be conscious, right? They'll be walking around the astral plane like zombies. I know, I see it all the time to this day. There's people just walking around just like they don't know where they are. They're walking in a daze. That's because their body's not fully gone. Their body's not fully decayed. So sometimes they can come back to Earth, back and forth to Earth. And that's not good. You don't want ghosts walking around, right? You don't want that. So this is why cremation is buried, because it will allow that spirit to go directly to where it needs to go in the astral plane, and it can stay there, right? It can stay there, family. And also it allows a person to wake up faster when they pass away. Okay? So the person will actually wake up consciously and know they're in the astral plane when the body's cremated. And it gets rid of all the energies left over in the body after death. Sometimes that happens. There's a lot of negative energies that's left over in the physical body after a person dies, right? So you're burning all that stuff up when you cremate it. I recommend people being cremated over buried. It's just the best thing to do, family. And I know that we live in a world where the majority of our ancestors have been buried for the most part. But trust me, family, when you pass away, you should have it in your will or something that you want to be cremated, right? Now, if your family is being buried, I recommend that you definitely set them up on the ancestor altar and start giving them energy and light and giving them food and water and stuff like that, because they're going to need something. The more energy they receive, the more they can wake up faster and they can know where they are. And I'm telling y'all, that's almost everybody that passed away.
Now, I'm gonna stop it right there. Hold on. I'm gonna stop it right there. If you're gonna do any of that stuff, do it properly. If not, then you're better off just cremating them. This is why ancestors used to cremate. I don't know if you watch any old Indian videos. They talk about you in these movies. Ancestors would put the body on top of some type of thing they made where the body lays, and it was raised up high, and they would light it on fire with stuff underneath it. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, only because I want to confuse people. I would say definitely look into this more. So, hey, going They're leave for work soon. So my question before I go anywhere is anybody has anything they want to say? Anything they want to add to the conversation about anything that's going on with the world right now? Current events, Ukraine, Russia, anything. Before I head up in this first broadcast on this channel. And this, of course, this is really about trying to see if anybody had any questions, anybody had anything they want to bring up, a conversation that they want to know about, or a conversation they already knew about, as far as information that people may want to know about, anything like that. That's why I know we used to have 3 or 4 people on the screen with me. Hopefully, eventually, that will be the case again. We are still building on the house in case anybody wants to know what's going on and all that stuff too. But that's another conversation. Okay, so I guess nobody has anything to say. All right, so I guess nobody has any stop sharing this. Okay. Let's just look on camera. Well, I understand Rapman said that, but if you're not inside your body, how can you feel it? And if our ancestors did it when it was going the right way before they went the wrong way, why would they want to harm somebody that was a loved one? So, I mean, you can try to do rituals. These are not witchcraft or anything like that. Not anything like that. Not the spirituality, witchcraft and stuff. But if you don't do it right, again, so this is why ancestors were just cremated. It was way more easy, made more sense. So I wouldn't, that's the same as saying, okay, if you're not in your body, can you eat it? Can you eat a piece of fruit? Can you speak if you're not in your body? Like, can your body speak? So it doesn't make sense, right? So, we did miss him after news, man. Like his Planet Build videos, stuff like that. Of course, he still missed. I see his son doing some things there. Did a video yesterday that seemed cool. I still see a lot of the outside nations pretending that they ain't falling. We can see they falling. And you can see that. Well, as far as Ukraine goes, if anybody doesn't know, Russia's definitely about to have Ukraine where they want them. Some people are. This is one guy who's actually talking about it. Actually, I want to see if I can let you hear him, because I can't show him on here. Matter of fact, I know what I can do. I know exactly what I can do. Quick, think on my feet real quick. Hold on. We're going to go ahead and let y'all hear this guy. He's on TikTok. I'll tell you his name in a second. But hold on, I want y'all here. I'll plug this in here. Plug this into this phone. So we can get a lot of volume real quick. All right. Yeah, hold on, make sure this is not him. Okay, so I'll do this. Actually, no, that's right. My sister sent me this. This piece of information. Just gotta make sure I get you to the right guy who's talking about it. 1 second. We're gonna get to it. They don't miss the news, is always getting info. So hold on. Okay, here we go. Now remember, the event that's coming, they've been putting a date up for it. So I'm gonna say it's end of the world, but be the start of the end of the world as we know it, I would think. They're gonna get up this war, they're probably gonna drag it out for a while. Here's what their plans are.
If everything play out the way I just seen it play out.
Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick so I can make sure y'all can hear this clear. I want y'all to hear this very clear. And not have a problem hearing it and clean straight through. So here we go. Plus I can help me save on my data. Okay, so here we go. All right. Before I show this video, anybody have any questions? I'm gonna end it after this video. After you guys hear this.
And hopefully I got enough time to get.
Are y'all ready?
If everything play out the way I just seen it play out, and hopefully I got enough time to get things together by the end of 2023. Because 2024 gonna start some wild shit. Listen, I can't spell it out for you, but in the near future, I'm gonna say by 2025, they're gonna kick off World War III, one way or another. They're gonna kick that thing off because they gotta get a reset. Every time they reset, it's been a world war. And that's what they're gearing for. So they're just trying to set up the right atmosphere for that. They're moving the chess pieces right now. But I'm telling you, what they're going to try to do is get y'all to go to the underground bunkers. That's the whole thing. Because they got to get you down there so that you can't see what's going on the surface. And they're going to be bombing the surface. That's what's going to be happening. They're going to be bombing the shit out the surface. So whoever decides to stay up on the surface, going to have to make do. And this is why I can't spell it out for y'all. Because they ain't going to be able to bomb everywhere. They got to come back up somewhere. So if you don't plan on going into the bunkers under any circumstances, and going into the new future with the one world order or the United States government, or whatever they plan on doing after the World War, you better start getting your unit together now. Right? You better figure it out. That's all I'm saying. If you don't plan on leaving your city for the next 3 years, start planning an escape route. They start bombing the area. They start having terrorist attacks. You figure out how you can get out of that city and get to open land, open space, or a rendezvous point with another group, and then y'all figure it out from there. But you're gonna have to hold something down. You're gonna have to hold something down. Because while everybody down in the bunkers are going to be thinking the World War is going on, it's really going to be government sanctioned demolitions in certain communities. And you know whose communities those are going to be.
So of course they'll be trying to attack the urban communities, right? Trying to attack the urban communities is what they'll be doing. I mean, common sense, y'all. It's common sense. And that's the stuff they like to do anyway. They always like to bother us. So that's the shit that they do. So that's why, that's another reason why everybody really should be looking to go to wilderness as soon as possible and to build up a homestead with a bunch of people who believe in the Creator only. I was going to learn more because we all keep learning. I keep learning. The Creator keeps teaching me, showing me, and many others who does for others too. So we should all be banding together. I mean, it is what it is, y'all. They're about to fall. Not even about to, they are falling. What you see is the decline and the fall, the start of the fall of the governments all around the world. And they all need a reset, all of them. So they're pushing this war to get a reset. The reason that America is freaking out so much, or the people, the Rothschild and all those guys, is because Russia has positioned himself pretty darn good at having gold so that they would be straight, and they would be, and actually what China has actually done this. And that's why they also had killed Gaddafi, because Gaddafi was working with Russia to go ahead and do that whole thing with the gold. How you doing, Seventh Heaven? Doing pretty good. So you have to look at all these facts, all these variations and things going on. Then every time you turn around, how they was trying to get everybody to do what they wanted them to do. Some folks fell for the okie doke. And then of course in that video that I've shown of that brother doing, you see that there's zombies in some of that video, and that there's some event coming on that date that I've been showing lately. So if there's an event coming and they keep showing that date and they got zombies in the video, right? The people are acting like zombies in that video on TV, and they got on certain times in the movies. Then what they basically trying to tell you, they want just one date. It was like 4 or 5 different dates. Yeah, they lined up that the barrel was going to be over here, over there, whatever on those dates. But these events that are happening are obviously going to happen on this earth with people, right? They're showing these zombies, and we already know some folks got okie doped, right? Then what's the case? What's really going down? So you got to start thinking about that. There's too many reasons to be in the wilderness. So I know we're probably going to be going to the wilderness, but we actually are near the wilderness because our land is near us. But I've been working on the land. And so what I believe is that now it's getting hot. I know a lot of folks is waiting till it warmed up. And a lot of us actually, I was surprised a lot of people has actually moved into different parts of the area. That's right. Yeah, we got to get out. But hey, listen, eventually people have to do what they got to do. People, I don't even want to say it, people are doing what they got to do. And getting out. But yeah, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's what's going on in this world today. And like, yeah, they want you to take, what the war is. It's a war against the Most High's people. And the war's going to happen when the Creator says so, but they are trying to get up for their own way. And of course, the Creator said his way destroys himself. So basically, the Creator ain't really got to do nothing but sit there and watch it play out. And that's basically what we're doing. We're going to sit here and be watching it play out. We watching it play out. When you go to the wilderness, because you still, you don't need money to do some things on the land and get stuff you need and to help build stuff you need, like a house and so forth. And, so people go to work. I just didn't know they're on the land. They go to work. We go to work. And then, in the week we get a check like everybody else. And, every day we go back to the land, every night, every day. We go sleep, wake up, same thing over and over again for a while. And eventually, once the land is, everything's growing, everything's right, then if you think about it, we have no reason to work off the land no more. What is he working on the land? There's no reason for a job because we're not going to need it because everything's self-sufficient, you know. And we have clean water where we at under our land. So, I mean, the setup is straight. We just have to keep on doing the work. So that's what you want to do. You definitely want to do that. Get out while you can because they're going to get for this retarded war way or the other, you know. So I think I'm going to do a live probably in a day or two when I come on. It won't just be some videos, but I think I'm going to give you a couple of scriptures there. And you'll be surprised about some of the stuff that's in these scriptures. Even with the Bible, when the devil's telling you what he's going to do in that book for sure, and there you go, you see it playing out on your local news station at your place house, and they're taking these orders from the devil. That's who they're definitely taking orders from. It's good to see you, Melissa. Here from Miss Melissa Glass, 7 Heaven. Of course, my homeboy, we're on top soon. Today's Sunday. I wonder where Mr. Fitz is. So, Brother Truth is still coming to the land. Brother Superintendent Penitentiary will be coming to the land. Brother Real will be coming to the land. We got a good amount of folks that's going to be coming to the land. We got a couple of, I'm going to make a phone call soon. We got other folks that are also coming to the land. So, let's get this thing together, y'all. But I'm hoping y'all learned something in the videos. Especially with the first one about what they was doing in slavery, which is dead wrong. You know, Rapture. If you haven't seen Rapture News' son's video, go watch it real quick. They hide New Barrel like crazy. They already know it's about to go down. They always show them rocks, buildings that have seem to be hit by rocks, but they are not. You don't see anybody dead. So I even seen a video where they are going to people's houses, like they're like opening the gates and walking on the property, and Poland folks are walking on like, hey, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. That's what Ukraine and Poland last year was one. They're like, hey, what's going on? And the police seem to be gathering people, but don't seem to be hurting people so far. But honestly, it seems all staged. The whole thing seems staged. It's almost like they paid these folks. They went to the property, news media showed up. They paid these folks some money. Okay, these folks walk into your fence, you know what I'm saying? And then you say something. Like they had a big old wooden fence. The fence is not locked. Come on now, right? They can just open the fence. They just walk in with their guns, and the guy come out all calm with the wife. Hey, what are you doing? So it just seems like it's not real. What's going on is that it's like they're acting all out because they are trying to get up to get to that spot of war. They want to reset because they're about to fall. That's what it's really all about, but they don't realize the reset is going to be for the devil, and it's going to be a digital reset. They want a golden reset, but see, that's not going to happen because the gold ain't worth nothing. So only twist in the habits to go digital. And that's going to happen really soon. But, you know, some people, whatever this event's going to be, it's going to be bad. But I do know, you know, we ain't got long. And maybe to the end of this year or next year. But I wouldn't bank on that either, saying we got that long. Because nobody knows the days or the hour. So let's hope that it's not. This event is just an event. Oh yeah, they're gonna go for that. Oh yeah, we're gonna see a lot of people soon this year, towards the end of this year, and definitely next year. But I tell you what, towards the middle of this year, and definitely all over next year, there's people gonna be androids. They want people to be androids, and you're gonna have a lot of folks who are gonna be androids walking around. Especially if they already took the you know what, and they go for another you know what. They try and get them to take 5 or 6 you know whats. and that's why the body be magnetic, which is just it was stupid for them to do that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get out this thing and start closing things out. And I'll talk to you guys later. I gotta make a phone call to the sister. There's some people that's coming as well. So, you know, I don't want to ignore them when they trying to find information. So just be careful when you're out there. Because, like I said, they put the zombies out there for a reason on those lessons. They got them on certain times and dates for lessons. We don't know. We know a couple years back there was a couple of attacks. People they said they was on some new drug. They call it bath salt, which is bullshit. Because I take a bath, you can take baths of bath salt, you know, eat people's faces off. But they said to did the bath salt and fucking ate folks' faces off. The reality, that was a zombie test. And I'm pretty sure they had the you know what before they even talk about the you know what. I got a friend that said they had the you know what 4 or 5 years back before they started announcing you know what, and you know what even hit the TV, screaming on your news. And they was going on talking about the boogie must gonna get you, come get the you know what. So now, you know what I'm saying, they already got it all figured out. You got more people who got the you know what. So what they gonna do if they go ahead and push a button on one? All they gotta do is do it for 4 or 5 people in each country, right? Or one, you know what I'm saying? Capture that one where they was gonna be at, and then say, "Oh snap, we got a new variant out, a new you know what out." So there's something coming. There's another wave coming. Oh, the Flocka drug. They've been on the Flocka drug too, huh? All right. All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. Peace and love, everybody. Praise couldn't nobody else. And I hope everybody had fun, you know, with this broadcast. And hope you learned something. Peace and love.